Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. This is a weather report with a weather health risk for August 20th, 26. We keep additional graphics at tpatw.com. We maintain a storefront on Amazon. Looking at the surface map for Thursday, we still have unsettled weather moving up and down the four corners. A little bit of a bubble low trying to develop about Minnesota and Wisconsin. A more active front stretching all the way from Denver to Dallas, back across Little Rock, all the way through northern Mississippi, Alabama, over to Atlanta, and then up the eastern seaboard all the way to Boston. Lots of unsettled weather once again across the four corners and across the southeast. More activity down here in Florida. Looking at our vitality index, where we try to just pick out those areas where individual weather elements may be of significance, and you can see that we have those spotty showers and thunder showers across the four corners. We have a little bit of activity going on with that bubble low up in Minnesota and Wisconsin. A little bit of activity going on, especially here in eastern Oklahoma across Arkansas, and we're trying to pick up a few little areas here in Florida. Looking at the change in pressure, we have a touch of rising pressure across western North Dakota. We have more rising pressure stretching from the eastern lakes across northern Ohio, very, very northern touches of Pennsylvania, and across upstate New York, and right along the Canadian border. A little bit of rising pressure here in Louisiana. Looking at the change in temperatures, we of course are searingly hot across the southwest through the southeast. We're reasonably summer warm across most of the area, although you'll see that we're having a bubble increase in temperatures here across Nebraska, eastern South Dakota, and trying to touch portions of Iowa. Interesting line of rising temperatures here across Tennessee, Kentucky. Looking at the change in dew points, we have that line of activity stretching all the way across from northern New Mexico, across Oklahoma, and on into the uppermost reaches of Mississippi, Alabama. We have a bubble increase in dew point temperatures up here across the extreme northern lakes. Looking at vapor pressure, it's a lot more defining, and you can see that rising vapor pressure stretching from northern Arizona, across New Mexico, Oklahoma, all the way to the southeast and the middle Atlantic states. We have that bubble increase in vapor pressure again across Wisconsin, Minnesota. Note that we do have that falling vapor pressure, and I think that is an example of the falling pressure behind that frontal system, which is pretty well defined here on vapor pressure. The good news is the lifted index, or instability, while it still maintains some vigor here in the four corners and a touch of vigor here in the middle Mississippi Valley, it's still not quite as extreme as it had been. Looking at the change in oxygen availability, we've got some migraine stresses, spotty here across the four corners, but note it is very neat along that line of vapor pressure running from northern Arizona across northern New Mexico through Oklahoma into central Arkansas, picks up significantly here in northern Mississippi, and then stretches across into the Carolinas. A smaller area of migraine stresses here at the Florida Panhandle. Very interesting migraine risk here about Lake Okeechobee. Note that we have asthma and arthritis risk, however, at the Millbourne area. And we're not through with the migraine risk yet. Here stretching across the northern Ohio Valley, northern Indiana, northern Ohio, really very just the tip of northern Pennsylvania. It's more significant across upstate New York, and we're picking up a risk of migraine for all of these Canadian cities from Windsor all the way up to Quebec. Again, jumping back to the asthma and arthritis risk, we'll pick that up here in northern and eastern Nebraska, almost all of eastern South Dakota, a touch in eastern North Dakota, and a good portion of western Iowa. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated, and if you hurt, tell us where you're located.